Hello friends and welcome to this session for GATE and ESC Electrical Engineering. My friend, this session is going to be one of the most awesome session and you are going to really learn something very new and something that will help you in the exam. In the exam for GATE, may it be 2021 or it may be 2022. Now, before we start the lecture, my friend, let me introduce you myself. My name is Ankit Goyal. I got AIR 1 in GATE 2014 and GATE 2018. And my friend, I was also awarded the President of India Gold Medal by the President himself in the year 2013 when I graduated from IIT Indore. Presently, I am working as a director at an academy for GATE department, and that is why constantly I am able to bring new and more initiatives for you. Because an academy is not an institute. An academy is not a coaching. An academy is more of a revolution. An academy is more of a feeling. An academy has everything right that is wrong with every other coaching institute in the country. The name An Academy, my friend, has been comprised of two words, un and academy. That means it has everything that is not there in an academy. So an academy cares about the student in the best way possible. It cares about the student most than or more than any other person can. All the initiatives are centered on the student. That is, they are always working towards the student welfare. And that is why, my friend, you are watching this course on power system. That is why, my friend, you are watching this course on power system free of cost on our YouTube channel. So my friend, if you are visiting this channel for the first time, make sure that you have subscribed, because we have electrical machine, power electronics, power system, communication system, EMT, EDC, network, signal, control, digital, everything is here on this channel, that too free of cost, my friend. But what has An Academy done? An Academy has brought a revolution in the country where they are providing the most affordable education, and that too free of that too at the most affordable price, as well as free of cost on YouTube. So my friend, if you want to be a part of the revolution that An Academy has created by means of the courses that are running on An Academy, where they are bringing you the best ever educators of the country on a single platform. That is, you, my friend, can be able to learn from India's top educator at the cheapest or at the most affordable prices possible. At the most affordable prices possible. Now, my friend, I'm talking to you. You can dare to dream. You can dare to enter a PSU. You can dare to dream about MTech from an IIT. Why? Because An Academy has made it possible. An Academy has done everything that is required to get the best rank in GATE examination. So my friend, if you want to join An Academy, make sure that you use the code Ankit ESE, because the door to An Academy opens with this code, and this directly makes me your mentor, so that I can guide you at each and every step regarding your GATE preparation. And not only this, you will also get 10% discount on your subscription. Now, what does An Academy bring for you? Not only the live classes. The live classes are the best part of An Academy, where you can interact with the educator, ask your doubt, and make sure that you understand each and every concept, and then only exit the class. But other than that, you get dedicated doubt session, where you can post a pic of a question and ask any doubt, any number of doubts. Then you have weekly quizzes. Every Sunday we test how much you have understood. Then there are daily practice paper which we provide you for practice. Then there are practice questions from An Academy. Then there are test series from An Academy. Then there is crash course, where we will boost your rank in the last few months. There is rank improvement batch for the students who have already done well in the GATE examination. Now, my friend, all of this just with one subscription fees, where you don't have to pay anything again and again or anything extra. That is the magic of An Academy. Just join An Academy without thinking too much.
Hi guys, in the last lecture we saw the short circuit model of a synchronous machine. Whenever a short circuit occurs at the terminals of synchronous machine, we defined three periods. One was your subtransient, the next period was transient, and the last period was steady state. In subtransient, we saw that since the flux cannot change instantaneously, currents were induced in the field winding and damper winding, due to which the equivalent reactance, that is subtransient reactance, was leakage plus 1 upon 1 by XA plus 1 by XF plus 1 by XTW. In case of transient, it was XL plus 1 by 1 upon XA plus 1 upon XF. In steady state, it was XL plus XA. These were the three periods that we defined in case of a short circuit on a synchronous machine. Also, we saw the effects of a short circuit fault, in which we saw the speed increases, due to which the frequency of the machine will also increase. In this lecture, we will discuss how to analyze the symmetrical short circuit faults. That means the faults which are identical for all the three phases, hence the system remains balanced. So in case of a symmetrical fault, what happens is the fault occurs symmetrically for all the three phases. So the system will remain balanced. And in case of a balanced system, there are no negative or the zero sequence circuits, or there are no negative or zero sequence components. Hence, we will discuss only the positive sequence elements. So let us discuss here how to analyze these type of fault. First of all, first assumption that we will make is no load condition prior to the fault. No load condition means IA, IB and IC all were 0 before the fault, that is pre-fault. Okay. And VA, VB, VC were all balanced. Now what happens is that when the fault will occur, if we apply KCL at this node, then we see that there are three incoming currents, IA, IB and IC. There is no outgoing current, so the sum must be always 0. Okay. So they will always be balanced, that is IA will be IA angle 0, IB will be IB angle minus 120, IC will be IC angle 120. Now if we wish to calculate the symmetrical components of the current, then IA0, IA1, IA2. These will be equal to 1, 1, 1, 1 alpha square alpha, 1 alpha alpha square. Then the currents will be IA angle 0, IB angle minus 120, 1 by 3, 1 alpha alpha square, 1 alpha square alpha. IC angle 120. Here we have to use A inverse matrix instead of A matrix to derive the sequence components. So now if we calculate IA0, it will be 1 by 3 IA bar, that is IA phasor plus IB phasor plus IC phasor. We just now saw the sum of these three is 0. IA1, it will be 1 by 3. So since all the currents are balanced, their magnitudes must be same. So I will call as I angle 0. Alpha is 1 angle 120 into I angle 1 minus 120. Then alpha square is 1 angle minus 120 into I angle 120. Now these angles will get cancelled out. So it will be equal to I. Okay. And IA2 if we calculate, it will be 1 by 3 IA angle 0, or let us call it as I angle 0 since magnitude will be same, plus 1 angle minus 120 into I angle minus 120 plus 1 angle 120 into I angle 120. So if we simplify this, what we will get? IA2 will be 1 by 3 I angle 0, I angle minus 240 plus I angle 240. Now what are these angles? Minus 240 and 240. 0 is this one. Minus 240 is this. It will be minus 240 or plus 120. Then this is this is plus 240. So the sum of these three will also be 0. So here we saw IA0 is 0, IA1 was coming out to be I, IA2 comes out to be 0. Hence only the positive sequence current is present, which agrees with the initial hypothesis that we took. Now if we calculate the symmetrical component of voltages, if you see the network, the voltage of each phase was VA was equal to, let me show you, what is the voltage at this point? If we apply KVL, if we assume the voltage 0 here, it is IA into ZF. Similarly, VB will be IB into ZF, VC will be IC into ZF. IA ZF, VB is IB ZF, VC is IC ZF. Okay. Now if we wish to calculate the sequence components, we can write VA as IZF angle 0, VB as IZF angle minus 120, VC as IZF angle 120. Just I have kept the angles of I. ZF, let us assume that it is resistive. Okay, it is a valid hypothesis, otherwise you can assume the angle to be theta. Now if we wish to calculate symmetrical components of voltages, it will be 1 by 3, 1, 1, 1, 1 alpha alpha square, 1 alpha square alpha. IZF I can take common, 1 angle 0, 1 angle minus 120, 1 angle 120. Now since the angles of the quantities are same as in case of previous matrix, I can directly write one thing. The results will be identical to what we arrived for the case of currents. VA0 will be 0, VA1 here will be IA into ZF, and VA2 will be 0. Okay. So how I am directly writing these is, because the voltage phasors have the identical phase as the current phasors that we saw earlier. Hence we will arrive at the same result just with a different magnitude. So from here also we can see only the positive sequence voltage is existing. So this you can directly assume also, because we are having a balanced system, no negative or zero sequence components will be present. And here, since we have derived by symmetrical component methods also, only positive sequence component will exist. Now to draw the circuit on per phase basis. Why we are drawing on per phase basis? Because the system is balanced. You can analyze per phase and then you can manipulate the result to obtain the results for the other two phases. How to manipulate? You will just change the phase angle of the result and keep the magnitude same across all the three phases. Now from here, if we calculate the fault current from this circuit, okay, just we have drawn the positive sequence network, only positive sequence currents exist. So IF will be EF by Z1 equivalent plus ZF. Now this is your fault current. Suppose if ZF is given to be 0, in any problem if fault impedance is not given, you will assume it to be 0. So IF will be EF by Z1 equivalent. Now suppose we want to derive the power that is being delivered by the machine during the fault. So since we know IF is equal to EF by Z1 equivalent plus ZF, and in PU under no load condition what will happen? IA will be 0, so EF will be equal to VT will be equal to 1 angle 0. So EF will be 1 PU. So what will be the IF in PU? It will be 1 upon mod Z1 plus ZF in PU. And what will be the power in PU? It will be equal to how much? EMF into current. Okay, because in PU power or S is equal to V into I. So it will be same as that of current. Now if we wish to calculate in actual values, what we will do is we will multiply the S by base value and we will multiply the base of 3 phase. So S will be equal to S base 3 phase by mod Z1 equivalent plus ZF in MVA. Now if you expand S base 3 phase, we know that Z base is equal to V base line to line square by S base. So from here I can substitute S base as S will be equal to V base square line to line by Z base into mod Z1 equivalent plus ZF in PU. Now when base impedance is multiplied by PU impedance, we will get the actual impedance. So it is V base square line to line by mod Z1 equivalent plus ZF. Okay, so this will be the short circuit MVA or the power delivered to the short circuit for a triple L fault or line to line to line fault. Okay, so this is your actual value MVA. In per unit value it is 1 upon Z1 equivalent plus ZF in PU. So that is how to derive the short circuit MVA. Next, in case of triple LG fault, this is the other type of symmetrical fault. Here what is happening is just that all the ZF has gone to 0. So what will be the fault current? It will be EF by mod Z1 equivalent. What will be IF in PU? It will be 1 upon mod Z1 equivalent in PU. So what will be S? That will be 1 into 1 upon mod Z1 equivalent. So that is 1 by mod Z1 equivalent in PU. So what will be the S in actual value? This will be S base 3 phase upon mod Z1 equivalent PU. So this is the case for a triple LG fault. Just it is a special case of triple L fault, just with the assumption that fault impedance is 0, because here all the 3 lines are grounded. If they were interconnected with each other, you will take a impedance ZF. Otherwise, what you can do is, even if you want to assume ZF, you will assume here, like all the 3 lines will be connected to ZF, then ground. So this will be ZF if you want to assume. Otherwise, you can take ZF is equal to 0 for the case of triple LG fault. So these are the two types of symmetrical short circuit fault in which all the 3 phases experience the same short circuit condition, or hence the 3 phases will be identical. Hence the system will be balanced. Now, as I told you, 3-phase short circuit fault is the rarest as well as it is the most severe type of fault. Hence, the circuit breaker rating will be decided on the basis of 3-phase short circuit fault. Now, what all ratings can be derived from the 3-phase short circuit fault for the selection of circuit breaker? So, first the procedure is to calculate symmetrical short circuit current. What is a symmetrical short circuit current? that is the AC component of the short circuit current that we were just calculating by using EF and mod Z. That will be your symmetrical short circuit current. Now we define two ratings of a circuit breaker based on this symmetrical short circuit current. One is rated maximum momentary current and other is symmetrical breaking current. Symmetrical breaking or symmetrical interrupting. So here, once we have I symmetrical, what we do is we will multiply it by 1.6. That will be the rated momentary current of the circuit breaker. Okay, that means the momentary current, that is the current that exists for a short duration, can exist only up to this much value. The short duration current should not exceed this value. That is your rated momentary current. Now why we have multiplied it by a factor of 1.6? Because the symmetrical short circuit current contains only the AC component. It does not consider any DC current. Now instead of simplifying the DC current using exponentials and all, what we are doing is we are taking an estimate of the DC current, that is 0.6 times the AC current. Hence the total current will become 1.6 times the symmetrical short circuit current. So instead of calculating the transient current, we are multiplying the whole current by an empirical factor to account for the DC offset current. Similarly, in case of symmetrical interrupting current or symmetrical breaking current, the first thing to be remembered is we will use XD double dash for generator and XD dash for motor, that is subtransient reactance of a generator and transient reactance of a motor, because in case of motor, since the supply is short circuited, so it does not have any supply, so the motor will decelerate and it will enter the transient region faster as compared to a generator. So we will consider transient reactance of a motor and subtransient for a generator. Based on this, we will first calculate I symmetrical. Then we will multiply it by an empirical factor to account for the DC offset current. Now, whenever you are opening the circuit breaker, the current which is the circuit breaker is encountering is called as symmetrical breaking current. Okay. So the later you open the circuit breaker, the lesser the current it has to open circuit. The earlier you open it, higher will be the current. Why? Because as the time passes, DC offset current decays down to 0. In steady state, the DC offset current is 0. In subtransient, the DC offset current is highest. So the factor that you have to multiply with the symmetrical current depends on the value of speed of the circuit breaker, that is when you are opening the circuit breaker. Either you are opening it early, then you will multiply it by a high factor. If you are opening it late, then you will multiply it by a low factor. So let us see what factor we have to multiply. Okay, and as I told you, mostly you will open in the transient region and not in the subtransient or the steady state. Now if you take 8 cycles speed, okay, speed is greater than 8 cycle or time is greater than 8 cycle. So it is taking a very large time. In 8 cycles, the DC offset current will almost have decayed to 0. If it has decayed to 0, then the only current that remains is symmetrical short circuit current. So we have to multiply it by a factor of 1. No need to multiply it by any other factor because the DC offset current is almost 0. Now if we are taking a 5 cycle circuit breaker, that is it opens in 5 cycles, then we will multiply it by 1.1. Then 3 cycle, we will multiply it by a factor of 1.2. Then 2 cycle, 1.4. We do not go beyond 2 cycles. Why? Because beyond 2 cycle we will enter the subtransient region and we open the circuit breaker always in a transient region. We never open the circuit breaker in subtransient because the current is very high, due to which the arc formed will be very dangerous and it will be hard to extinct. So we will open only in the transient region. Now let us look at a problem to illustrate how to use these symmetrical short circuit fault concepts to solve a problem. It is said that a 25 MVA 11 kV generator has XG double dash 20%. Okay. Now it is connected through a transformer, a line and a transformer to a bus that supplies 3 identical motor. Now each motor has XG double dash 25% and XD dash as 30% on a base of 5 MVA 6.6 kV. Okay, so motor has a base 5 MVA 6.6 kV. Generator has a base 25 MVA 11 kV. The rating of step-up transformer. Now the step-up transformer will be connected nearer to the generator because before transmission we will step up the voltage. 25 MVA 11 by 66 kV and leakage reactance is 10%. Okay, step up is 0.1. Then step down transformer is 25 MVA 66 by 6.6 kV with a reactance of 10%. Step down is also 10%. The bus voltage at the motor is 6.6 kV when a three-phase fault occurs at F. The reactance of transmission line is 15% on a base of 25 MVA 66 kV. Assuming no load, we need to assume system base as 25 MVA. Now step 1 in fault analysis is to draw the equivalent circuit or the per unit reactance diagram. So this is the circuit that is given to me, or this is the single line diagram. We have to first convert it to a per unit reactance diagram. So what were the rules? We will first divide the circuit based on transformers. This is zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Now he has said that assume the base as 25 MVA. Now we do not know the voltage base, neither it has given. But if you see the rated values, for generator rated voltage is 11 kV. For this it is 11 by 66. Hence here the voltage will be 66. For this it is 66 by 11, 6.6. So here the voltage will be 6.6, which is actually the rated voltage of the motor. So if you guys are assuming any base in any problem, try to assume a base which requires minimum computation. That is, you have to change the minimum number of values and mostly the values will remain same. Okay. So for the generator, now if we calculate the subtransient reactance, given is 0.2. The voltage at which it is given is 11. New base that we have assumed is 11. The base MVA that is we have assumed is 25, given is 25. So it will remain as it is. For transformer T1, given is 0.1. The voltage at primary which is given is 11, but we have assumed is also 11. The base that we have assumed is 25 MVA, given is 25, J.1, which will be same as that of T2. Because T2 also the rated voltage is 66 by 6.6 and we have assumed 66 here, 6.6 here. So voltage is also same as rated and MVA is also same as rated. For transmission line, it is given as 0.15. The base is given 66 kV and we have assumed the base for transmission line as 66 kV. The base given for the transmission line is 25 MVA. We have also assumed 25, so it will be J.15. Now for the case of motor, the voltage that is given at the motor terminals is 6.6 kV and we have also assumed 6.6. So given is J1.25, sorry, J.25, 25%. The voltage that is given is 6.6. We have assumed 6.6. The base that we have assumed is 25, given is 5. So it will be J1.25, which is equal to XT double dash. Similarly, the transient reactance will be J.3. 6.6 is given, assumed is also 6.6. 25 is assumed, 5 is given. So it will be J1.5. That will be XT dash. Now since we have all the reactances and impedances on the same base, we are ready to draw the per unit reactance diagram. So how will it look like? It will look something like this. This is your generator reactance. This is step up transformer, transmission line, step down transformer. Then the three motors which with impedances J1.25. Now the first question that we have to solve is we have to find the subtransient fault current. That is the current going into the fault during the subtransient period. Since we are talking about subtransient, I have used the subtransient reactance of the motor. Now since fault is occurring at F, we have grounded the point F. Now see how the current will flow. Current will go like this from the generator, from this motor like this, like this, and like this. All the machines will be delivering the current into the fault, and as I told you, under faulty condition motor will act as a generator and it will deliver current to the fault. Now fault current will have four components. First coming from a generator, 1 divided by how much is the reactance, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.45, 0.55. For motor it is J1.25, and all the three motors will have same current, that is into 3. So how much will this current come out to be? The short circuit current, it will be minus J 4.22 pu. Now the fault is occurring at the terminals of motor here. So it is lying in region 3. To calculate actual value, we will have to calculate the base current in region 3, which is 25 MVA by root 3 into 6.6. So this base current will come out to be 2187 ampere. So what will be the fault current? That is 4.22 into 2187, that is equal to 9229 ampere. That will be your fault current or the subtransient current going into the fault. Okay. So first rule to remember is whenever the fault will occur, all the machine, whether it is a synchronous motor or a synchronous generator, they will deliver the current into the fault. In our next problem, it is asking subtransient breaker current. So first we have to locate the circuit breaker. Circuit breaker B is this and fault is coming here. Okay. So fault is coming between the breaker and the machine. So if breaker is here, fault is coming on the right side of the breaker. Now this current will go directly into the fault. This current will go like this. This will go like this. This will go like this. So three currents will have to pass through the circuit breaker to go into the fault. But the motor at which the fault is occurring, the current will directly go into the fault, because for that motor breaker lies after the fault. Okay. What I am saying is, I will show you in this figure. See, if the current from the generator goes into the fault, it has to go through the breaker. It will go like this. For this machine, if it goes into the fault, it has to go like this through the breaker. For this machine, if it goes, it has to go like this through the breaker. But for this machine, it can directly go into the fault without going through the breaker. So only three currents will pass through the circuit breaker. One will go directly into the fault. So whenever we are calculating subtransient breaker current, we will take generator current, that is 1 by J.55. We will take the current of two motors and not the all three motors. So how much will this come out to be? Minus 3.42. So base current will remain same because breaker B also lies in the region number 3, 2187 ampere. So I will be 2187 into 3.42. So it will be 7479.5 ampere. That will be your subtransient breaker current or the current going into the breaker in the subtransient region. Next, we need to calculate momentary breaker current. As I told you, rated momentary current can be calculated as 1.6 times symmetrical current. This symmetrical current will be the current passing through the breaker, which is equal to 7479.5. Hence, it will be 11967 ampere. This much current will be the rated momentary current of the breaker. That is, it can handle this much current for a short duration of time, not for a long duration. And the last rating that we need to calculate is the symmetrical breaking current. But the first rule that I told you about the symmetrical breaking current, instead of XD double dash, we have to use XD dash. Now, here we have used J 1.25. So first we will have to replace each with 1.5. Because as we calculated, XD dash is 1.5. Now, the current going into the breaker was the generator current plus the current of the two motors. Okay, because one motor current goes directly into the fault before passing the breaker. So it will be J 2 into 1 by J 1.5. So how much will this come out to be? Minus J 3.1515 pu. Okay, this will be the breaker B current. Now, to find the breaking current, we have to take the speed of the circuit breaker into the account. So let me assume 5 cycle circuit breaker. So I breaking will be 1.1 into 3.1515 pu. And the actual value will be, it shall be multiplied by the base current, which is 2187. So how much will this come out to be? 7581 ampere. Okay, so that is how you calculate the symmetrical breaking current of a circuit breaker. First, replace the subtransient reactance of motor by transient reactance, calculate the symmetrical current, and then multiply it by a factor corresponding to the speed of operation of circuit breaker. So let us summarize what we learned in this lecture. We first saw the triple L type of fault. There we saw only positive sequence component can exist and there is no negative or zero sequence component. There we saw the fault current in PU was 1 upon mod Z1 equivalent, that is the equivalent positive sequence impedance, plus mod ZF into PU. This should be in PU. And we saw the short circuit MVA in PU. It was same as the fault current Z1 equivalent plus ZF PU, which was also equal to base MVA in 3 phase divided by mod Z1 equivalent plus ZF in PU. This was also equal to V line to line base square by mod Z1 equivalent plus ZF in ohm. Okay. Then we saw the momentary current of a circuit breaker, which is 1.6 times I symmetrical, and we saw the breaking current, that was K into I symmetrical, where K depends on speed of circuit breaker. It is 1.1 for 5 cycle circuit breaker, 1.2 for 3 cycle, and 1.4 for 2 cycle circuit breaker. Okay, so this is what we covered in this lecture. Rest of the symmetrical fault analysis we will see in the.
So my friend, if you want to join Unacademy, if you liked the lecture, if you like the content that you have just watched, and you have decided that Unacademy is the right place for you, and you want to learn with me, you want to learn from me, then don't hesitate, because that is where we are conducting free classes every day that will boost your GATE rank. So if you decide to take subscription, click on GATE and ESE, click on get subscription. After this, you can choose the plan that you want to opt for. The final year and dropper can take 1 year plan, second and the third year can take 2 year plan. But don't forget to use the code Ankit ESE. This will give you 10% off, as well as it will bring you under my guidance. And as you can see, the prices are really affordable, my friend. It is much less than any other institute can offer you, and that is why I keep repeating, Unacademy is not an academy. It is a revolution. It is a feeling. You can make the payment by credit, debit card, EMI, net banking. Also, EMI is available on debit card, but for HDFC debit card and Bajaj Finserv debit card. So if you are from a weak financial background, you can pay the amount in installments, but only use the code Ankit ESE. And my friend, these are some videos where I have told how to study, how to get the best rank in GATE, and these videos will really help you in cracking GATE. So make sure that you watch each and every one of them. And my friend, these are our other channels, like for mechanical we have, for civil also we have, for computer science we have for SSC, JEE, all branches, electrical, mechanical, civil. And on this channel we have the previous year question video solution, that too free of cost. And many more channels will be coming very soon for you guys. So be a part of our YouTube family, and you can take the benefit of all the free content that we are bringing. And my friend, this is my Telegram channel, where you will find the notes of each and every lecture that I take. And this is my Unacademy profile, which you can follow to watch my content for free on Unacademy, because there also I am taking regular free classes. So if you can't afford to join Unacademy, then keep associated with us, keep sharing the content that we are providing, and work towards making this YouTube family bigger and better. We'll keep bringing more and more content for you, and the only fees that you have to pay, my friend, is that you have to work hard and you have to share and like each and every video that we are uploading. So that way this family gets bigger. Even the student in a rural area can take the benefit of the free initiatives that we have started. And my friend, you also get the best rank in GATE without having to stress about how to pay. So if you can't be paying or you can't afford to pay, then make sure that you are building this YouTube family, a bigger and a better YouTube family, the biggest and the best community of all electrical engineers. So that is all from my side. See you again in the next lecture. Thank you.